Peter has had some problems getting to Huddersfield. Will he get there? Is he there already? Well, at this point in time, I really don't know. But I'm heading north today, and hopefully by tonight I will find out. My name's Marianne, and I am part-time boater. Well, I'm back, and it's the end of the day. I've made it to Huddersfield. It's taken me a long time because I stopped off on the way and visited with an old school friend of mine. But I am in Huddersfield now, and Peter is not here yet.
I've got a bit of a problem with coolant again, so I'm not going to look at it now, but tomorrow morning I've got to get the deck boards up, and I suspect I'm going to find coolant all over the bilge again, which is a real nuisance, but there we are. That's where we've got to.
Last week, Peter had engine overheating problems. They're not resolved. He did call out an engineer, and he has disconnected the radiator that was fitted back in Thrupp and reconnected pipework in such a way as to help Peter get moving again, but it's not fixed. Peter's really frustrated with the engine as it is at the moment and the overheating. It stops him at every twist and turn. He's worried about it every time he goes on any stretch where there are no locks. But more importantly, just recently, even if there were locks, the engine kept overheating. So that's not really the best when you're trying to be a continuous cruiser. So Peter is on his way to Huddersfield. The bad news is that it's taken him such a long time. The good news is that as of today, he is on the Huddersfield Broad Canal. Yay! He made it! But he's not where he needs to be. And so I still haven't seen him. I've only spoken to him on the phone. I think he will arrive in the centre of Huddersfield tomorrow. Let me just recap a little bit. He set off some time ago from Chester, and he went past Manchester and Halifax, and he went on the Middlewich branch and the Middlewich Canal, is it, or the Middlewich branch, and that was a really lovely canal. And then he went on to the Rochdale Canal and had no end of problems with trying to fit into locks. He had to reverse into two of the locks, which he did, and that was fine, and he got through. Then he ended up at Nook Lock. The weather was really bad, and the boat was being pulled in various directions, and he lost his phone again. It fell out of his pocket and into the canal, and this is the third time this has happened, and he was really gutted about this when he was speaking to me, and he didn't know how much further he could go because of lock closures on the Broad Canal, and the boards on the Calder, which he had, the River Calder, were red as well, so he wouldn't be able to get onto that. He was just going to aim to go as far as he can, but at Nook Lock, that's where he couldn't move any further because the engine was just too bad. There was vapour coming out from underneath the deck boards, and he knew that he was in trouble with that. The people that were there was a scout boat there, and they helped him through the locks, and he was pulling the boat out, and that's when the vapour was coming out. So they suggested ringing an engineer that they knew of, and when he rang Aspley Marina in Huddersfield, the person there also recommended the same engineer. So Peter rang him, and he actually came out the next day. And that's when the radiator was disconnected. I got a message from Peter today to say that he had managed to get onto the River Calder and that he had managed to get to Lock 1 of the Huddersfield Broad Canal, and I think that's where he is. Colnbridge Lock is where he is at tonight, and tomorrow I think he's got maybe 5 or 6 locks to do to get to Aspley Wharf, and I am intending to meet him somewhere en route to help him through those few locks. Bearing in mind he's done the journey from Chester all the way through to Colnbridge Lock on his own. I think he came through a couple of locks with another boat, and then there were the deep locks that I mentioned in last week's video where he had a CRT volunteer come out to help him because that was the rules, and he gave them 48 hours notice, and the CRT volunteer met him and saw him through those locks. So, I don't know what tomorrow will bring. I will video what I can and put it into a future video. But I hope that you have enjoyed following Peter's journey on Narrowboat Bandonian to Huddersfield. And I know now that he will actually get here tomorrow and we can celebrate Christmas, Omicron allowing, in the way that we had planned. On the negative side, I had some upsetting news this morning from my daughter. I told you last week that we were planning to attend her graduation, which was to take place in 3 weeks' time in Huddersfield itself. And she unfortunately had an email through today to say it's been cancelled. And this is the second time it's been cancelled. And this is the degree that she qualified in last year. So needless to say, she was gutted. I was upset about it because we managed to get a date for the whole family to get together, which we don't often do, and we don't think that it's likely to happen next year when her graduation date is actually booked. So the day hasn't panned out quite how we'd hoped, and to have this news at the start of the day wasn't the best. We will make the best of it. It will be lovely when we finally get to a graduation, I'm sure, but it may not be in the same, we may not be able to celebrate it in the same way as we'd planned. So what else can I tell you about the last few weeks? I haven't been on the boat. This is my first time back in quite a while, but it is going to be exciting to be able to help Peter through this last leg of the journey, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm hoping that my leg will last out as well. My knees aren't recovered fully from the accident. They're still a bit weak, as are my hips, so I'm still doing exercises for that. And my shoulder isn't the best either, and I'm still undergoing physio for my shoulder. So tomorrow is going to be very interesting. This will be the first time I'm doing locks for quite a while. I think the last time I did the locks was actually maybe going through Calcutta, and that was months ago. And I haven't really done anything else since then, apart from visit. So we will see what tomorrow brings. I will try and document it for you, and I hope you'll be interested to see future videos with this. I will put a link at the end about the work that Peter did on the engine previously, when I think we were at Napton Junction, and he did a narrative about the engine overheating. So I will put that video in the end cards, and I hope you will take the time to watch that and find out the history of this overheating engine. So I would like to thank you for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed, but please consider subscribing, it would mean a lot to me. If you are a subscriber, I really thank you for subscribing and for watching this video. And I hope that you have found it interesting, albeit very short. And I look forward to seeing you again next week. And bearing in mind next week is Christmas, I will have to do something a little bit special for you for that one. So until next week and next week's video,